She mocked my job while depending on my support. I didn't defend myself or complain. I improved my skills, advanced my career, and stepped away calmly, letting results explain everything I never needed to say. "You're basically a janitor with a keyboard," she said, not even looking up from her phone. I stopped mid-bite of my sandwich. We were at her parents' house for Sunday dinner, and the table went silent. Her mother cleared her throat. Her father shifted in his seat, suddenly very interested in his mashed potatoes. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. I'm 31, been with my girlfriend for 4 years, living together for 2. My job is in IT support at a mid-sized company. Hers was, well, she'd been between opportunities for about 8 months. "What did you just say?" I asked quietly. She finally looked up, rolling her eyes like I was the one being unreasonable. "I'm just saying, you spend all day resetting passwords and plugging in keyboards. It's not exactly rocket science." Her younger brother snorted into his napkin. I set down my fork carefully. "Right," I said. That's all I said. Her mom tried to change the subject, asking about the weather forecast. I finished my meal in silence, helped clear the table, thanked her parents for dinner. The car ride home was quiet. She scrolled through Instagram, occasionally showing me posts I didn't ask to see. "Look at this house that Derek and Amanda just bought. Derek's in finance, you know." I kept my eyes on the road. "Mom, they're going to Bali next month. All-inclusive resort. That's nice." She huffed. "You're mad." "I'm not mad. You're doing that thing where you get all quiet and passive-aggressive." I pulled into our apartment complex parking lot. "I'm just tired." That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling. She was already asleep, her back to me. The thing is, she wasn't entirely wrong. My job wasn't glamorous. I did reset a lot of passwords. I did help people who couldn't figure out why their monitor wasn't working when it wasn't plugged in. But it was stable. It paid our rent, our groceries, her car insurance, since she'd asked me to help out temporarily 6 months ago, her phone bill, the Netflix, Hulu, and Spotify accounts she used daily. I'd been supporting both of us on my janitor with a keyboard salary while she looked for the right opportunity. The next morning, I woke up early. Not unusually early, but earlier than I needed to. I made coffee and opened my laptop at the kitchen table. I started researching certifications, professional development courses, networking technologies, cloud computing, cybersecurity, things I'd been meaning to look into but had never made time for. She wandered out around 9, still in her pajamas. "You're still here? Don't you have to go reset passwords?" She laughed at her own joke. "I'm going in a bit later today," I said. "Must be nice to have such a flexible schedule." I didn't respond. Over the next few weeks, I developed a routine. I'd wake up at 5:30, study for 2 hours before work. During my lunch break, I'd watch tutorial videos or read documentation. After work, I'd come home, have dinner, and study for another 2 to 3 hours. She didn't notice at first. She was too busy refreshing job sites and telling me about positions she was overqualified for. "They want 5 years of experience, but they're only offering 60,000. Can you believe that?" I'd nod and return to my practice labs. "Are you even listening to me?" "Yes. 60,000. Unbelievable." "You don't have to be sarcastic." "I'm not being sarcastic." She'd huff and return to her laptop, probably scrolling through social media. I registered for my first certification exam, CompTIA Security Plus. It wasn't the most advanced cert, but it was a solid foundation. I scheduled it for 6 weeks out. That gave me a goal, a deadline. I studied harder. I took practice exams until I was scoring consistently in the 90% range. She noticed the books. "What's all this?" she asked, picking up one of my study guides. "Just some work stuff." "You're studying?" "For your job. For a certification." She flipped through it, frowning. "This looks complicated. Why would you need to know this?" "Professional development." She set it down. "Seems like a waste of time. You should be looking for a better job, not trying to polish this one." I looked at her. Really looked at her. She was wearing the yoga pants she'd owned for 3 years, hadn't been to yoga once. Her hair was in a messy bun. She had the look of someone who'd spent the entire day on the couch. "Maybe you're right," I said. She brightened. "Really? Maybe I should be looking for better opportunities." "Exactly. You could do so much more than tech support." I smiled. "Yeah." I took the exam on a Saturday morning. She was still asleep when I left. The testing center was sterile and quiet except for the clicking of keyboards. I sat down, went through the identification process, and started. 90 minutes later, I walked out with a passing score. 87%. Not perfect, but more than enough. I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Pride. Actual, genuine pride in myself. I didn't tell her about passing. I just added it to my LinkedIn profile that afternoon. Then I started applying for new positions. Not frantically, not desperately. Strategically. Security analyst roles. Junior security engineer positions. Network security specialist jobs. I tailored my resume to highlight projects I'd done at work that aligned with security. The time I'd identified and patched a vulnerability before it was exploited. The network segmentation project I'd volunteered for. The incident response procedures I'd helped document. Stuff I'd done, but never really thought much about. 2 weeks later, I got my first interview request. Then another. Then 3 more in the same week. She noticed I was dressing better on certain days. Why are you wearing a tie? You never wear a tie to work. Meeting with upper management. I lied. Sort of lied. I was meeting with management, just not mine. The interviews went well. Better than I expected. Turns out, having actual hands-on experience combined with a fresh certification made me a decent candidate. One company flew me out for an on-site interview. I told her I had a work conference. A conference? For IT support. Technology conference. Industry stuff. Sounds boring. Probably will be. The on-site was for a security analyst position at a financial services company. The pay range was almost double what I currently made. They put me up in a nice hotel. I interviewed with 4 different people over the course of 6 hours. They took me to dinner afterward. The director of security was a woman in her 40s who'd started in help desk and worked her way up. Your background is similar to mine, she said over appetizers. The people who come up through support understand things differently. They know how users actually interact with systems. That's been my experience, I said. You see things that pure security people miss. I try to. She smiled. I think you'd be a great fit on our team. 3 days later, they sent me an offer. $78,000 a year. Full benefits. Education reimbursement for additional certifications. Career development path clearly outlined. I read the offer letter 3 times. Then I accepted. I gave my current job 2 weeks' notice. My manager was disappointed but understanding. I knew you wouldn't stay in support forever, he said. You're too good at this. Too motivated. I appreciate everything I learned here. You going to tell me where you're going? I told him. He whistled. That's a great company. Good for you, man. Really. That night at dinner, I decided to tell her. She was complaining about another job posting. They want someone who can work in a fast-paced environment. That's code for we'll overwork you and underpay you. I got a new job, I said. She stopped mid-rant. What? I accepted a position at a financial services company. I start in 2 weeks. Her mouth opened, then closed. You were interviewing? When? Over the past month. And you didn't tell me? You were busy with your own job search. She blinked. What kind of position? Security analyst. Security? Like a security guard? I almost laughed. Information security. Cybersecurity. Oh, she processed this. How much does it pay? $78,000. Her eyes widened. That's more than double what you make now. Yes. When did you? I got certified. Started applying. Interviewed. Got hired. She sat back in her chair. For the first time in months, she seemed at a loss for words. Why didn't you tell me? I wanted to surprise you, I said. Which was partially true. The surprise part, anyway. She recovered quickly. This is amazing. We should celebrate. We could finally afford to go on a real vacation. Maybe we could look at bigger apartments. Oh, and I saw this car. About that, I interrupted. She stopped. I've been thinking. About what? About us. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. What do you mean? I'd rehearsed this conversation a dozen times in my head. I'd imagined different versions, different words. But now, sitting across from her, it was suddenly very simple. I don't think this is working anymore. Because I made one joke about your job? It wasn't one joke. Oh my God, you're still hung up on that. I was kidding. My family knows I was kidding. Your brother laughed. He's 23. He laughs at everything. You've made comments like that for years. She scoffed. I've been supportive of your career. Have you? Yes. I've been understanding about your schedule, your stress. I've been paying all of our bills for 8 months. That shut her up. You asked me to help with your car insurance temporarily. That was in June. It's February. I've been looking. You've been looking for the perfect job instead of taking something that would let you contribute. So this is about money? No. It's about partnership. It's about respect. She crossed her arms. I respected you. You call me a janitor with a keyboard in front of your family. It was a joke. Jokes are supposed to be funny. She glared at me. So you went out and got some fancy new job just to prove a point? I got a better job because I wanted to improve my life. Our life. We're together. Are we, though? She stood up. You're breaking up with me because you got a better job and suddenly think you're too good for me. I'm ending this because I realized something while I was studying every night. What? You were never in my corner. You saw me as less than, as someone who wasn't good enough. That's not true. When I told you I was studying for a certification, you said it was a waste of time. I just meant, when I told you I wanted to move into security, you asked if that meant security guard. I didn't know. You didn't care to know. You didn't care about what I was working toward. Her eyes were watering now. So you're just going to leave? After 4 years. I'm going to move on. Yes. Where will I go? The lease is in both our names through May. That gives you 3 months to figure it out. I can't afford this place on my own. Then you'll need to find a roommate. Or a job. Or move back with your parents. You're serious. Completely. She wiped her eyes. You've changed. Yeah, I said. I have. The next 2 weeks were cold. We barely spoke. She slept in the bedroom. I took the couch. She'd leave passive-aggressive notes around the apartment. Thanks for the support during my tough time. Hope your new money keeps you warm at night. I didn't respond to any of them. I packed my things gradually. Books, clothes, personal items. I'd already put down a deposit on a 1-bedroom apartment closer to my new job. Smaller than our current place, but it was mine. Just mine. On my last day at my old job, my team took me out for lunch. They got me a card that everyone signed. Don't forget about us little people, one of my coworkers joked. You guys taught me everything, I said. And I meant it. My first day at the new job was surreal. I had an actual office. Well, a cubicle, but it was in a different building, a different world. My new team was 4 people plus the director. Everyone had at least 1 certification. 2 people had multiple. They treated security like a craft, not just a job. We had daily stand-ups where we discussed threats, vulnerabilities, new attack vectors. I was learning more in a day than I'd learned in months at my old position. The work was challenging. I had to learn their systems, their protocols, their tools. But I wasn't resetting passwords. I was analyzing security logs. I was participating in incident response planning. I was helping to design security controls. It felt real. It felt important. 2 weeks into the new job, I moved out of the apartment. I'd rented a van, recruited a couple of friends. She wasn't there when we came to get my stuff. She'd left another note. Hope you're happy. I left the note on the counter and walked out. My new place was on the 3rd floor of a newer building. Hardwood floors, updated appliances, a balcony that overlooked a small park. I furnished it slowly. A couch from IKEA, a bed frame I actually liked, a desk for my home office setup. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was just building a space that felt like mine. 1 month into the new job, the director called me into her office. You're doing really well, she said. Thank you. I want to talk to you about your development plan. She laid out a roadmap. More certifications, specialized training, a potential promotion path to senior analyst within 18 months if I kept performing. We invest in people who invest in themselves, she said. You've clearly been investing. I plan to keep doing that. Good. Because we're also going to invest in you. The company paid for my next certification. CISSP prep course, exam fee, study materials. All covered. I studied like I had before, but now it was part of my job. I was encouraged to spend work time on professional development. It was bizarre. It was amazing. 3 months after the breakup, she texted me. Can we talk? I didn't respond immediately. I was at a security conference, attending a session on threat intelligence. During the break, I checked my phone again. Another message. I miss you. I made a mistake. Then another. I got a job. I'm doing better. Can we get coffee? I put my phone away and went back into the session. That evening, back in my hotel room, I finally replied. I'm glad you found a job. I don't think coffee is a good idea. Please. I just want to talk. There's nothing to talk about. I was wrong. About everything. About how I treated you. I stared at the message. Part of me felt vindicated. Part of me felt nothing at all. I appreciate you saying that. So we can meet? No. I've moved on. You're seeing someone else? That's not relevant. It is to me. I'm not doing this. I wish you the best. Really. I muted the conversation. I wasn't seeing anyone else, for the record. I'd been on a couple of dates, nothing serious. I was focused on work, on myself, on building something stable. But even if I had been seeing someone, it wouldn't have mattered. That door was closed. 6 months into my new job, I got promoted. Senior security analyst. $88,000 a year. The director took me out for lunch to celebrate. "You've exceeded every expectation," she said. "You're exactly what we needed on this team. I appreciate the opportunity. This is just the beginning. Keep going the way you're going, and you'll be leading your own team in a few years." A few years. I thought about where I'd been a year ago, sitting at a dinner table, being called a janitor with a keyboard, supporting someone who saw me as less than, stuck in a relationship that was draining me. Now I was here, respected, valued, challenged, growing. I ran into her brother at a grocery store about 8 months after the breakup. He recognized me first. "Hey, man." "Hey." Awkward silence. "How've you been?" he asked. "Good. You?" "Yeah, good. Still in school." "That's good." More silence. "Look, about that dinner thing. That was messed up." I shrugged. "It's in the past. She talks about you sometimes." "How's she doing?" "She's all right. Got a job in marketing. Moved in with a roommate." "Good for her." He nodded. "She regrets how things ended." "It ended how it needed to." He looked uncomfortable. "Yeah. Well, anyway, good seeing you." "You too." I checked out and left. I didn't think about the encounter much. It was just another reminder of a life I'd left behind. Around the 1-year mark at my new company, I started mentoring. A new hire, fresh out of college, eager but green. I remembered being him. Not that long ago, really. "You're going to feel overwhelmed," I told him during our first one-on-one. "That's normal. Everyone here seems to know so much." "They do. And they'll teach you if you ask. But you also have to put in the work outside of office hours. Like studying, like getting certified, like practicing, like treating this as a career, not just a job." He nodded, taking notes. "How long did it take you to get to senior level?" 6 months. But I had experience from my previous role, and I studied. A lot. "What would you recommend I start with?" I told him about the certification path I'd taken, about the resources I'd used, about the importance of hands-on practice. "Can I ask you something personal?" he said. "Sure. Do you ever regret the time you spent studying? Like, did you miss out on stuff?" I thought about it. I missed out on being disrespected, on being taken for granted, on staying in a situation that wasn't serving me. He looked confused. "So no." I smiled. "No. No regrets." The company sent me to a security conference in Vegas. Black hat. I'd heard about it for years, but never thought I'd actually attend. I sat in on presentations about zero-day exploits and advanced persistent threats. I networked with people from major tech companies. I felt like I belonged there. Not like an imposter. Not like someone who'd stumbled into the wrong room. Like someone who'd earned his seat. On the last night of the conference, I had drinks with some colleagues from other companies. We talked shop, shared war stories, complained about vendors. One guy asked what I did before security. "Help desk. IT support." "Yeah? How'd you make the jump?" "Got certified. Applied strategically. Got lucky." "Luck had nothing to do with it," one of the women said. "Nobody accidentally gets into security." "Fair point. What made you want to switch?" the first guy asked. I could have given him the professional answer. Career growth, intellectual challenge, better compensation. All true. But I gave him the real answer. Someone told me I was a janitor with a keyboard. I decided to prove them wrong. They laughed. "Best motivation there is," the woman said. "Spite." Worked for me. We toasted to that. I've been at my company for almost 2 years now. I'm leading a small team. 3 people report to me. I'm working on my next certification, CSSP, which I'll finish next month. I bought a car last year. Nothing fancy, but it's mine, paid for in cash. I'm thinking about buying a condo. My financial advisor says I'm in a good position. Financial advisor. I have one of those now. I date occasionally. Nothing serious yet, but I'm not in a rush. I like my life. I like coming home to my apartment and not feeling tension. I like working on projects that challenge me. I like being respected for what I bring to the table. I saw her one more time. Complete accident. I was at a coffee shop near my old neighborhood, meeting a friend. She walked in with someone, a guy, laughing at something he said. She saw me. The laughter stopped. I nodded. She nodded back. That was it. She looked different. Not worse, not better. Just different. Like someone I used to know. I turned back to my friend, and we continued our conversation. Later, walking to my car, I realized I hadn't felt anything. No anger, no satisfaction, no sadness. Nothing. She was just a person I used to date. Someone who'd been part of my journey, but wasn't part of my destination. I drove home, parked in my assigned spot, and took the elevator to my floor. Inside my apartment, I made dinner, watched some TV, reviewed some work documents. Normal evening. Normal life. My life. Built on my terms. People ask me sometimes if I proved my point. If I showed her she was wrong about me, I don't think of it that way. I didn't do any of this for her. I did it for me. Because I deserved better than I was accepting. Better work, better respect, better partnership. And when those things weren't available in my current situation, I built a new situation. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself in the moment. I didn't try to change her mind about me. I just changed my circumstances. I let my results speak for themselves. Not to her. To me. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to live with my choices. I'm the one who benefits from my growth. I'm the one who sleeps in the bed I've made. And that bed is pretty comfortable these days. The work I do matters. The people I work with respect me. The future I'm building is mine. I don't need anyone to validate that. I already know. And that's enough. More than enough. It's everything.